Hello everybody, back with another quick tip. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the basics of animation in After Effects. Now we're not going super deep, but this should give you an understanding of basic things like keyframing and adjusting images inside of After Effects. So we're going to start off by going to New Project. Then we're going to select New Composition. Here in New Composition, we're going to give it a title. I'm going to call this Demo. I'm going to leave this 1920 by 1080. I'm going to leave this at 2997 for the frame rate. I'm going to change this duration to make sure it's only about 5 seconds because we don't need any more time than that for an animated logo. And with this, I'm going to leave that background color as white and say OK. Now what I'm going to do is bring in the logo that I plan on using. So I'm going to go to File, Import File. Control-I or Command-I is a shortcut on that. And I'm going to use this Adobe Creative Campus logo. Select Import. And when I do that, it brings it up here into our project, but it doesn't bring it into our timeline. Simply drag it down into the timeline, and that will create your project. Now, when animating this, it might look like you're missing something, but if you hit this drop down here, it gives you an option to transform. If I select that again, it gives us our basic animation tools, and we're going to look at position, scale, rotation, and opacity today. Position is the easiest one to start with, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little stopwatch here. And when I do that, it creates this little diamond over here that's called a keyframe. And a keyframe just means that this is where an animation starts or stops. And what I actually want to do is I want this animation to stop with the logo in the middle. So I'm just going to drag this keyframe over here later in the video. Now with this, if I want to move this piece, I can simply grab this and drag it over. If I want that to stay in position, I can hold down the Shift key and drag it over. And now up here in preview, if I hit play, we can see what the animation looks like. Now that animation goes pretty quickly. One of the cool things about keyframes is if I drag that keyframe over, it will actually make that animation slower. So now if I hit play, we can see it'll slow it down. If I drag that keyframe closer to the initial keyframe, it will go really fast. So if I hit play again, it goes in really quickly. If I decide that I don't want to animate this, I can simply turn off the stopwatch and it'll delete all my keyframes. Next up, let's look at scale. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to click on that stopwatch. It's going to create a keyframe. I want this to be the scale. I'm going to drag that keyframe over. I'm going to set my scale to 0. And then now what will happen when I hit play is it will scale up. Pretty easy. If I turn that off, we'll do rotation this time. Going to do the same thing. Set the keyframe. Drag it over, set my rotation to 1, so it'll rotate 1 time, and then now hit play, and my logo rotates. Then I'm going to turn that off, going to go to opacity, do the same thing, 100%, drag it over, 0%, hit play, it fades in. Now, what if we use these together? I'm going to get rid of opacity and then put in scale. Do the same thing I did before. 0. Rotation. Drag that over as well. Make that 1 rotation. Hit play. And now it's changing the scale and the rotation of the piece. So you can combine these together. If you wanted to, you can combine all these together. You could also add in different points. Let's look at this with position. So one last time, position, drag this over. Then I'm going to take this and drag this off to the side, holding down Shift to keep it in the same position. And then what I wanted to do this time is I want it to go across kind of quickly and then slow down. So if I put another keyframe here, drag this over, almost to the end, hit the preview button, it goes quickly, then it slows down. And again, I can adjust this just simply by moving around the keyframes until I find a speed that works for me. All right, that's the basics of animation and animating a logo here in After Effects. Hope to see you back again next week for another quick tip.